Mr. Williams was recently selected for President Obama's Mandela Washington Fellow and profiled by Forbes as the man who helped 3 presidents win elections consecutively in Africa. So if any of you have political and presidential ambitions in Africa, this is the guy you want to talk to, apparently. So I'll be talking to him later tonight. Adebola Williams is CEO of Red Media Africa and owner of Red Group, home of several well-known brands including the Future Awards Africa, Y9Ja, Statecraft Inc., among others. Named CNBC Young Business Leader of the Year, Forbes 30 Under 30, Business Day 40 Under 40, amongst others, Adebola is passionate about social re-engineering and co-founded Enough is Enough, one of Nigeria's foremost civic participation group and premium voice for young people in politics. Adebola and his team helped to reshape the national discourse and optimize media engagement that helped change long-standing perceptions and ushered in a new president in Nigeria. He has recently done the same in Ghana, helping the opposition candidate win the presidency in his 3rd attempt. Adebola was named by the United Nations as one of the 100 most influential people of African descent in the last decade. Please help me in welcoming to the stage Mr. Adebola Williams.
Good evening. After such an introduction, I have a pedestal to stay on so that you don't, after this minute, think, what was all that about? I thank you all for coming out tonight. I am very honored to share this very inspiring evening with you. Such an eclectic crowd of the creme de la creme of the African continent in the diaspora. A round of applause for yourselves. A big greetings from Nigeria. I say Ekale for the Yorubas. Ibokwenu. Sanu Desua. I say Karibu for those from Kenya. I greet my people, as they say in Liberia. And Akwaba for the Ghanaians. But Nigeria still has the best jollof. I thank my friend Saran for the honor of tasking me. Sorry, yeah? Listen, I have paid quite a lot of money to fly down here. My mother is watching this broadcast. Let her not see me talking, I am making noise. Please. But I thank my friend Saran for inviting me to speak to you all tonight. I think she's doing an incredible job. I thank my friend Tunde, who's looked after me for the past few days while I've been here. He's somewhere in the crowd, thank you. I thank my friend, Mr. Easy, who's come out with me tonight. Selfies start at 1,000 Naira, just know. As Face to Face expands its efforts to Nigeria, beginning to replicate its success on the continent, I say a big kudos to you. You see, 783 million people do not have access to clean water. 319 million people in the sub-Saharan Africa are without access to clean water. Half of the world's hospital beds are full of people who are sick because of access to clean water, lack of access to clean water. In developing countries where many of you come from, 80% of illnesses in those countries are linked to lack of clean water. 443 million school days are lost each year for lack of clean water. Let us bring it home to Nigeria, where I come from. An estimated 55 to 65 million people in Nigeria do not have access to clean water. Over 130 million people do not have access to adequate sanitation. That is 2/3 of my population. Nigeria is on the bottom 25 countries for sanitation coverage in the world. And this is where the work of Saran becomes crucial. Face Africa's success today, which includes completion of clean water and community health projects across Liberia that have succeeded in helping over 100,000 people. A round of applause for Face Africa, please. And I thank you all for coming tonight. I thank you for buying those tickets. I thank you for looking great and representing Africa. But this is the meat of the matter. And that is why I titled my chant to you today, We Must All Become Water. The meat of my talk to you today is that is not enough, that you bought the ticket and you've come here tonight. What I have to tell you tonight, my friends in the diaspora, is that we must drive an African agenda anywhere we find ourselves in the world. You all live here in the diaspora, building another man's dream, building another man's country, another man's community. But when the chips are down, where will you go to? If the man who says he will build a wall tomorrow faces Africa, where are you all going to go to? Ask yourself that question. A few weeks ago, I hosted an ex-Nigerian governor in my home with a few friends. And he said to me he was in Harvard for 4 months doing a course on global economy. And on the second to the last day of the end of the course, he asked the lecturer, "Sir, you haven't spoken about Africa in 3 months, 3 weeks." The man said, "I'll tell you tomorrow." The next day, the man told him to come and walk with him. And as they got out and were walking, he said to him, "I can't talk about African economy in this class because Africa has no economy to talk about." He said to him, "A country that is unstable, a continent that produces nothing, a continent with no stability, we cannot plan with that continent." My friends, if that doesn't anger you, that angers me, bows down my spirit. That attacks my essence. That attacks the core of everything that I stand for. Look at us. Brilliant, beautiful, smart, first-class graduates. You have degrees that people who own this country would never smell. But we're here. You remember that proverb about the strength of the broom? You know what they do to us? They destroy our collective. They destroy the narrative of our continent so that we will never come together. They isolate us so that we will not coalesce and succeed as one. But we'll be in silos and our strengths will be weak. Are you not angry if you're in Nigeria? The same oil that you have chained to buy from a barren land to a land where we all go and troop and spend billions of money every year. Same oil has turned Dubai into a global player. So the question is, how are you, even though you're here, impacting your continent? I don't judge you for being here. But what you should ask yourself every night before you lay down in your bed, what am I doing? What have I done today to help education back home, to help water back home, to help democracy be upheld back home, to help those who are getting into government back home, to ensure that the people who are running for office are not the people that are presented to us, but actually the people that deserve to even vie for those tickets. Just ask yourself, if half the population of Nigeria had quality education, then the people who will be vying for office, there will be a rich pool of educated people to pick from. So you might say to yourself, "Oh, but I have nothing to do with government." But if you help education, you will create a pool that will ultimately help government. Do you see the link? Yeah. Water connects us. All of these things are connected. According to WHO, for every $1 invested in water and sanitation, there is an economic return of $3 to $34. According to the UN, it estimates that 40 million hours are spent collecting water. That same 40 million hours is the whole labor force for France in 1 year. The whole labor force that makes France what it is today. You should be angry, my friends. Where there is no water, the girls can't go to school because of hygiene. Where there is no water, the girls are stuck fetching water for the household. Now there's another research that says that 10% increase in women's literacy will ultimately increase the company's economy by 0.3%. Imagine the waste by not sending enough girls to school. Number 2, we must all be angry. Ladies and gentlemen, we should all be angry that the continent blessed with so much can barely feed itself. We should all be ashamed to point back and say that is our home. We should all be angry. Angry and turn that anger into power. Turn that anger into fire. Turn that anger into force that will propel us to take our countries and our continents to where it should be. Right at the negotiation table with value from our homes. Right at the table where we will contribute and shape our own identity. We all should be angry and angrily push an African agenda. Number 3, we must be intentional. Are we not tired of being the 8 baskets of the world? Are you tired? Oh, you want respect? But she sends $1 to you every day in those baskets. He sends you money to feed your family, and you want him to respect you here? No, he won't respect you because he's feeding your father. Think about that for a minute and be angry. You all have telephones, yet the photos of Africa I see are kwashoko children, sick children with flies on their face. What are you doing with your telephones to change that narrative? We must be intentional. The narrative of your countries are dark, unproductive, barren, dangerous. What are you going to do about it? We must be intentional. When Saran says, let us raise money for water in Liberia and in Nigeria, you know what you should do? Give her money for Liberia. Give her money for Nigeria. Then give her money for Tunisia, for Uganda, for Somalia.
Yes. Yes.
Because the continent is our business. As we have seen in the West, they have their clear agenda, which includes sometimes creating chaos and then coming to fix it so that they can control the narrative that they are the only ones that can do what is right. So we train our engineers, but we bring the Chinese to fix our roads. We train doctors, but we go abroad for medical checkup. Think about it. Number 4, we must sacrifice for the common good. When they talk about the founding fathers, who are the founding fathers? There are people like you who just chose to do different. There are people like you, Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, Obiese Kwesili, Chinua Achebe. There are people, regular, everyday people, who saw the problems and decided, I've got to do something about it, and I will. Number 5, I'm trying to speed up because my time is up. We must all be citizens. We must all be citizens. Africa is looking for truly committed and passionate people who want to solve their problem, who do not want to use the African narrative to climb the ladder of the elite class, but genuinely fix problems. And did I hear you say Africa has given me nothing? Well, I have news for you. Africa gave me nothing. Nigeria gave me nothing. When I was 5, my family lost all their wealth. When I was 7, I couldn't go to school. When I was 14, I hit the streets. I hit the concrete to find a path for myself. Nigeria gave me nothing. But I spent the last 16 years of my life building platforms, creating projects that affect Nigeria and affect the continent because someone's got to do it. Finally, we must all become water, for we are the lifeline of Africa. The great fella says, water no get enemy. Now water will they take bath. Now water will they take chop. Now water will they take cook. When your head hot, now water will take cooler. Water does so much. You are water on the African continent because you're there to heal. You're there to nourish. You're there to grow. Imagine a land with no water, barren, untapped, unused. But if you take your doctorate back, your economic strategy back, your policy back, and everything you have to go and water that continent, the continent will flourish. The continent will grow. So if there's anything I have to leave you all with today, you must all remember that now, after all said and done, it is our Africa, your and my Africa, and only us can fix it. We are water, ladies and gentlemen. Africa needs water, Africa needs you, and Africa needs me. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Thank you.